Welcome to the Pulse of Jonesboro. I am Jeremy Terrell, and I am your host. Thanks for tuning in, and let's get into this. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the things that we talked about last week and get into a little bit more this week about some things that I believe are relevant. We had the incident with Patty Lack and her run-in with Mr. Street. I said Mr. Steele last week, but it is Mr. Street. He is a city councilman, and basically she came into a meeting last week. She had some great points. She had some questions, and at the end of that session, he got down off of his seat, went over and got in her face, and basically had to be restrained from getting in her face. You guys go back and listen to that. Anyways, there was some correspondence back and forth between her husband and the mayor, and definitely wanting some accountability and some apologies. And I believe that very little has happened. You need to go to Patty's Facebook page, 280. She's great. She puts down a ton of information. She's at a ton of city council meetings. She's at other meetings, and she puts a ton of information out. So please go visit her on Facebook at 280. So anyways, at 280, you can go and you can see basically the response from the mayor. And it was 3 sentences. I talked to Mr. Street. We don't want any of that here. And that was it. No, nothing else. She went to the meeting yesterday because if you remember right, they bypassed the finance committee and they're going to just take it to a vote. And this is the bond that I'm talking about, and take the bond to the city council, bypassing the norm, and just take it for a vote. She showed up again yesterday and voiced her opinion, and it was a pretty packed room yesterday. So it ended up passing, and I think 3 councilmen voted no, and the rest voted for it. After the meeting, a couple of people came up and talked to her, and then Mr. Street came up and asked if he could have a moment with her. And he apologized, said a few things that, in my opinion, still didn't matter for him getting in her face, gave an excuse. And I think after he gave the excuse, I think he said there isn't any excuses, but I'm not 100% sure there. I'm sure Patty will give more information. But anyways, he did do that one-on-one. In my opinion, that needs to be a public apology. I don't know what the ramifications are. I haven't looked into them yet, but I will, on what happens if something like that happens within a city council and they come down off of their position chair and interact with a citizen. We'll see what that entails. I can tell you that there's a lot of people that think that's just absolutely ridiculous, both from Patty's page and my page, and the information and the feedback I've been getting, and same with her. And I can't tell you that there's anybody that says that was okay. We'll see what happens more with that. I think that more needs to be done. I think he needs to come out with a public apology. I think that there needs to be some sort of discipline going on. The funny thing is that he apologized for that, but I know, because I've been told by a lot of other people that are there on a regular basis, that this isn't the first time that he's said derogatory things to her. This is only the first time that he's ever just gotten in her face. If this is a pattern that he goes after her and maybe others, we need to know. And we'll probably go back and look at some previous city council meetings and just make sure, and we'll find out. So with that being said, this bond did pass. What's crazy about it, 17 million-ish. So I really want to talk about a couple of things going on within our city, in our county. We have to move forward, and I completely understand. The problem that's happening is nobody's doing their due diligence with the people that elected them, with the exception of a couple that I believe that are really representing the people that elected them within the city council. I'm not 100% sure about the county. I know same thing. There's a few that are representing the people that have elected them. But for the most part, they pretty much do whatever they want. Now, this whole thing with this bond is they want an E911 center, a new one. They want to upgrade it. They're really pushing this. They believe that it's the next key thing to our safety. I'm not 100% sure that's the case. Is it adding to it? Yes. The people that are working in there, do they really want to make sure that we're safe? Absolutely. They're great people. I know several of them myself, really good people that really want nothing but Jonesboro to be safe. But you heard me talk about last episode, both police departments, because they're split into two, literally are not adequate. They're just not. It's the same thing with the jail. The jail's not adequate. And in order to get the jail adequate, there needs to be a lot of things happen. The way it's set up, the manpower that's needed for how inefficient it is being built a long time ago, you can man it with half of the manpower if you had a newer one, so forth and so on. There's a lot of things with the jail. It's the same situation that the police departments have. I actually have some pictures, and I'll post them on Facebook and Instagram that show some of the parts of the police department downtown. And it's pretty rough. And so what the policemen and policewomen have to deal with is pretty bad as far as working conditions. And they all deserve better. They really do. The problem is those that are in charge aren't out there talking to you and me, giving us a plan, telling us the needs, why it needs to be done, who it needs to be done for, and really developing a huge understanding for the people. They're really just out there doing what they want, trying to get what they want, and if you get in the way, they're going to go backdoor you. That's just what happens. Now, with all that being said, do I think some of these things are needed? Absolutely. I think some upgrades are needed. You guys hear me say a ton of times that our police department deserves the best. They're out there putting their lives on the line each and every day for us, doing their best to make sure that we are safe, and they deserve the best. That's my belief. And I don't believe they're getting that. And I still will preach that the leadership from the top needs to be doing a whole lot more and a whole lot better. What are we going to do about it? I tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to you guys and I'm going to tell you maybe that do a little bit of their job, but we have to do better. We have to move forward. Now, what's killing me about this whole moving forward is that we have land, and they talk about the land and where we should build the new E911 center. And it's, do we put it down on Washington where we own land, or do we buy land next to the one that's on Caraway and build a new one there? I can tell you that buying land that doesn't have a value, nobody's even put a value other than the person that owns it, it's pretty ridiculous. And if that's what happens before all the due diligence goes into what that's supposed to look like, a ton of city councilmen have already went down to that site on a corner, held meetings, and said this isn't right. And yet that property keeps getting brought up over and over again. Hopefully it's not a buddy deal. Hopefully it's not one of these things where somebody knows somebody and everybody's going to get rich off of it. I hope that is not the case. The problem is that we don't know, and so we speculate, and that's one of the major speculations. It just is, because it's not transparent, and there's no information being given from the city. And that's what people are really upset about, and that's got to change. I don't understand why they don't get that they are here to represent all the people, not just a couple of people, not just 25% of Jonesboro. 100% of Jonesboro is supposed to be represented. 100%. It's their job to let us know the truth about what's going on in our town. And that is not happening. They keep fudging numbers on crime. They keep lying to us about what they're doing with trails and bike paths and things like that. They keep moving numbers and fudging things around on a regular basis. They are not fixing our roads. I surely hope the little bitty patches that they did on Alexander Drive, which is the feeder road between Southwest Drive and Wood Springs, surely that's temporary. Because if that's the repair, that's atrocious, right? Surely that's temporary. I drove down it today and it's got brand new lines on it and all that good stuff. Anybody that drives on that thinks that is a finished product is fooling themselves. So and as far as I know, that's the only road work we got going on. The only road work. Other questions that were brought up in the city council meeting were, okay, what's the budget for maintaining these new projects that are wanting to be done? And I can tell you that all of these new projects that have been done in the last couple of years, which, aside from sidewalks and a couple of intersections, that's it. It's all that's been done in Jonesboro, just so we understand. And the pool behind Parker Park. We can't staff the pool. I see grass growing on a regular basis. I know Creth was one of those projects. I can tell you from the people that put Creth in, they have told me that it was not done properly, that you and I could not have done what they did. They bypassed things that they shouldn't have. They hodgepodged it. They went, and as they went, that's when they made decisions based upon like block to block, 20 foot to 30 foot. And then they would come across something and make a decision. That's why it was so over budget. They had no real understanding about how they're going to connect all these driveways and things like that into the street. They just went and did it. You and I would not have done that, but they just went and did it. And they won't be able to maintain it. Those islands and stuff, they're already down there messing up stuff and doing some stuff, but they won't be able to maintain it. But some city councilmen keep asking these questions, and there's never an answer. Ever. There's never an answer. The other night, Steve, I know his name's Steve, but I don't know what his title is, but I know that he's the accountant or the finance guy of the city. Fabulous guy. I know him personally, super duper guy. But he gets up and says, we've got a lot in the reserve fund to do some of these projects and to do the maintenance that's coming. We're going to tap into our reserve. I've heard the mayor say this a couple of times now. Hey, it's time to tap into our reserve. We have approximately $30 million in reserve, and they want to tap into it. I don't understand how we're operating. Everything, and this isn't this mayor, it started with the mayor before him, but everything gets put in the general fund. And there's a reason for that. And the only conclusion is that they get to do whatever they want to with it. They don't have to allocate it anymore. It gets put into the general fund, and they get to pull from it at will. That's what they do. But I don't know what we're pulling it for. Again, if I'm wrong, somebody from the city, go to Facebook. Tell me I'm wrong and tell me where I'm wrong. I don't see what's going on. And I talk to a lot of different people that are in the city and work heavily within the city. They don't know what's going on either. What are we doing? Now, I can tell you what I believe they're doing, and I don't know this for 100%, but I'll tell you what I believe, and that is that they're moving so hard to be a green community. Pete Buttigieg put out this, like, go green, go walking community, go, there's a technical term for it, and I don't remember exactly what it is, but Fort Smith is rolling with it. And I think the Northwest, some areas have rolled with it. But basically, it's become uncar dependent, become dependent on sidewalks, and move in this direction that we get away from automobiles. That's the model that we're currently following. And there's some other stuff that comes with it that's ridiculous. But I keep telling these people they need to listen more. I know you guys listen. I know you listen. Listen to me now. We like our cars. Our county, our city, let alone the county, is too big to be your walking community. It just is. Now, do we need sidewalks? Absolutely. Start at the schools. Quit starting where you're doing it. Start at the schools. Work your way out. Put a plan together that makes sense. Don't put 7-foot sidewalks in anymore. Stop doing that. Just quit shoving things down our throat because a handful of people read something about putting in bike paths makes us safer. I have a question for you. Are we safer because of the bike paths that we've put in? No, we're not any safer. And the statistics, the crime statistics will tell you that. We're not any safer. Quit trying to go to 100,000 people Like, they put out this big thing today. Go to the Jonesboro City Facebook page and this wonderful, hey, this is what we're going to do with this money that we just shoved down your throats. And this is all because we're on our way to 100,000 people. What 20,000 people are you going to have move in here? Who are you catering to? Doesn't matter. The city council just keeps on voting to allow housing and things like that to just decay and other ones be built that you and I both know shouldn't be being built, and keeps pushing us into this area that nobody believes is the right direction. Nobody believes it's the right direction. But you guys keep doing it. I'm not sure why. But I want you to tell me how we're going to get to 20 and what that looks like. What do those 20,000 people look like? Like, when I say that, we don't have 20,000 more jobs. So before we bring in 20,000 people, let's make sure we got 20,000 more jobs. We don't have, the traffic can't hold another 20,000 people. Expanding Caraway and making it 3 lanes for another half a mile isn't going to help us. Why in the world aren't you working on the current intersections that we got that are a mess? No, let's just go to 20,000. Let's just race to 20,000 more people. Let's be 100,000. I don't get it. I don't get it. And I don't think anybody else gets it. So you guys keep putting the cart before the horse. It doesn't make any sense. And yet you guys keep shoving it down our throats. And I can tell you a lot of us are pretty sick and tired of it. So I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to join forces with a few people within Jonesboro. And we're actually putting together our own news. So you guys look forward to it. It's going to be fantastic. We're going to hit on all of the subjects that are going on within the city and within the county. We're going to give out all the information that you guys need to know to be informed and to know what in the world's going on within your city. And then we're going to go systematically, and we're going to make sure that those our elected officials get held accountable. We'll have a whole section that just talks about that. We'll be out in the communities asking them and doing polls and things like that, what they want to do. And then we'll make sure that those that are elected within those areas, we'll make sure that they're doing those things that you guys want. So that's what's coming down the pipeline, just to let everybody know. We're super excited about it. It's going to be a huge undertaking, but we're going to get it done. And I'm sick and tired of the outlets that are supposed to be doing that not doing that. They're just not. A few are trying, but it's really tough. Nobody wants to just put their neck out there like that. Taking the hits and things like that is really tough. It is. But we're going to put a team together that's fearless, and they don't care. They just want what's right. They're going to speak the truth, and they're going to tell the people what in the world's going on. So get excited about that. We're looking at hopefully getting that done by the end of the summer. That's going to be one of the great things that we're doing. I told you that we got some interviews coming up. We're going to interview Jerry Morgan here in the next couple of weeks. Now, Jerry is the AMP chair, and I can tell you this, out of all of the organizations within Jonesboro, I believe that the AMP is the one that's really moving and shaking and doing some great things. Now, do I always agree with Jerry? No. We've had some meetings where we've talked about the areas that I don't agree in, and that's okay. Him and I understand, and there's others within the city that understand that we don't always have to agree, but we all want Jonesboro to move in the right direction. But what is the right direction? And collectively, we got to come up with the right direction. And I don't know what's happening within the city council and within the leaders of our city. I don't even know. It's odd. It really is. So bike paths aren't going to make Jonesboro any safer. It's just not. We're not a biking community. Now, don't get me wrong, the people that bike and use those sidewalks, great. I think that's fantastic. Use them. My goodness, we got them. Please, people, get out there and use the doggone things. Like, take your family and get a new hobby of walking, something. But make sure you're safe and make sure you're paying attention and all that good stuff. We just keep pumping in millions and millions of dollars to sidewalks, and we're neglecting all of the other things. And we're neglecting making sure that our police department has what it needs. We're neglecting our sidewalks that we currently have, but way before the new ones. We're neglecting our streets and roads. We're neglecting some ditches. I gave some praise a couple of weeks ago when we had this massive rain, but then I went to a couple of neighborhoods over in the Nettleton area, and it's a daggum freaking pond over there when it rains. It's unbelievable what they have to deal with over there when it rains. You should be making sure that we have drainage. You should be bringing in businesses. If you want to go to 100,000, you better bring in some doggone businesses. Keeping the ones that get open. We have tons and tons that open and close every year, but you're not promoting them. Nobody's promoting them. Not really. Like you throw something up when they open, everybody goes and does a ribbon cutting. We're the ribbonest cuttingest group I've ever seen in my life, and proclamations to everything that goes on in Jonesboro. It's a proclamation. I don't know if that's hey, I want your vote, I'm going to give you a proclamation. I'm not 100% sure. Some are deserving. They're supposed to be special, but man, we're just throwing them suckers out every opportunity we get. There's just so much going on or not going on. I can tell you that a large portion of people say all the time that there's a good percentage of the people that work for the city that don't do anything. And we just keep adding more. What's going on with the Parks Department? What's going on with City Stars? Doesn't take that long to do an audit. And if you can't do an audit, let us see the paperwork. Put out the accounting that you guys do. It's real simple. Just put it out. Let us scrutinize it. Be honest with us. We've got parks that we can't open. This is crazy. You guys have heard me say it. I think it was this last week. There was going to be a tournament here, and sure enough, it got canceled. And you could see why part of it got canceled, but there's no reason for the rest of it to get canceled. But it did. It got canceled. Some parks aren't even open, but a couple have hours a day. Those are yours and my parks, by the way. That's the citizens' parks. And I can tell you this, the people that run other parts of our parks, man, they work their tail off and do a great job. But again, it starts with the leadership. We've got to put people at the police station. We've got to put people within the city, the parks department, so forth and so on. We've got to put people in there that know how to staff a pool for more than 5 hours a day, especially when he's pumped in $3 million for it. When you have people waiting outside, I don't know if I talked about this last episode, but let me tell you about Parker Park Pool. You got Parker Park Pool open. It's only open from 1 to 5 or 1 to 6. That's it. And people went last weekend that I know personally, and when they got there, there was 40 people inside swimming and probably 20 or more outside waiting for people to leave so that they could go in. The place is supposed to be able to hold, I think, 120 people at a time. 120 people at a time. There was 40-ish, which is what was counted. There was 20 plus more outside, and then those that showed up and just left. And it's not because of the capacity of the pool. It's because we don't have the staff per person. We don't have the staff per person. That's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. And you and I deserve better. But man, we're going to keep pushing away. We're going to build more parks. We're going to put in more dog parks. Go by the dog parks. Rarely is there. I'm not talking about the ones that take their dogs there occasionally, every blue moon, but there's nobody at the dog parks. Hardly ever. And you guys don't know that before you go put a dog park in? Collectively, you guys have spent over $600,000 on dog parks. And again, it's you don't know the people that you deal with. So, we are who we are. And I don't know if you guys are trying to get rid of us. I don't know what it is. Are you trying to get rid of the people that you don't agree with in Jonesboro? Trying to push us out? Not trying to represent us. That's for sure. The majority of people want roads to go from home to work and back home again. And they want to be doing it on roads that don't beat them up, and they want a safe place to live. That's it. That's the majority of the people. They want to go to church on Sunday. They want to go play golf or go fishing or have a barbecue or an outing, or that's the majority of what Jonesboro people do. That's it. I will say, great event a couple weekends ago with a biker thing at downtown. Those things need to keep going. As long as they're successful, keep pumping them out. We got some stuff that we're trying to do that's going to bring some unbelievable things into Jonesboro that's going to be really big for Jonesboro. It's going to be nationwide and worldwide, hopefully. That's coming to Jonesboro. We're trying to do that and big stuff. And again, we just really got to start moving in the right direction. We just really got to start doing it. I can't voice it enough. I do want to end on the protest that went on last weekend. And I did drive by the No Kings protest, and I didn't know anybody. There was approximately 400 people, a little bit more. I will give them that. And I did reach out to a couple people, and I asked them, why? What were you protesting? And they said democracy. And I asked them, what does that mean? Where do you think that your democracy is being taken? And there was no answer. Couldn't get an answer. And I did talk about we're not a democracy, just so everybody understands. We're a republic, and we're made that way, and there's a reason for that, and there was a reason that we're not a democracy. So people need to know the difference. It's not the same. But anyways, I asked those questions, and they couldn't answer, which is concerning, it's just real concerning. I'm so thankful, and thank you for being just protesting and not being violent and all of that great stuff. I don't think we got the agitators. I know that other areas of the country got agitators that were shipped in, and thank goodness that there's some people over on the left that they're top-notch people, got great heads on their shoulders, and they only want to do what's right. Now, we don't agree with what that is, but they want people to be safe and things like that. And they made sure that happened. And as far as I know, they're not going to allow other organizations to pump in agitators and throw rocks and damage things. But I do want to put forth this understanding that those types of things are coming, though. If we're not careful, there will be agitators coming to Jonesboro and trying to provoke both sides to do things that neither side wants to do. So just be mindful of that. I do want to tell them, those guys, that thank goodness that you guys are peaceful. And I don't agree, not one bit. I don't agree. You say that we don't need to have a king, but I can tell you that some of the things that happened 4 years ago in the Biden administration definitely acted like a king, forcing masks and forcing vaccines and firing people if they didn't. And in other parts of the country, literally made to stay in their homes, couldn't go to churches, couldn't go, if your parents were dying, you couldn't go see them. All of that stuff, in my opinion, that's acting like a king. That's acting like a king. I'm not 100% sure, because I couldn't get any of them to answer what they're protesting against. But anyways, I wanted to end on that. We'll get into a little bit more of that stuff probably down the future. I do want to make sure that we're heading in the right direction. Also, as far as staying away from the outside influence that comes in from other states that really push and agitate and try to destabilize communities. If nothing else, I will say this. We're pretty stable. We don't have too much crazy, aside from massive amount of petty theft and things like that. We're doing okay. We're not doing enough to keep it that way. And we got to do better. So, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I really thank you guys so much. We're We literally are growing each and every week. And keep up the great work and share, and let's move this. Some of you guys have maybe been trying to go to YouTube and check this out. We fixed that. We found out that the episodes were going on and dropping off, but we have now fixed they're all on YouTube. So those of you that know people, family members or whatever, I do have a few friends that just want to go to YouTube, and now they can, and even go back and check it out. Go to the YouTube channel as well, and it's the same thing, the Pulse of Jonesboro. Guys, we really appreciate you, and we will see you. Great things are happening, and so everybody get really excited, and we're going to move the needle in Jonesboro. We're going to do some great things. Look forward to the upcoming episode with Jerry, and I do believe we're going to have a city councilman or two come on with us, and we'll do some of that interviewing before the summer's over. And we have some locals that we're going to be interviewing here pretty soon as well that I know each of you guys are going to love. And don't forget to go to Patty Lack, the 280 page on Facebook. Give her a shout out and some love, guys. She does a lot for us, and you really need to dive into and watch what she does. She puts a ton of information. She is one of those few that are at each and every city council meeting, really diving into the real issues. We don't probably agree on everything, but I do support her, and I do agree with a lot of the things she does and a lot of the directions. And I tell you what, I definitely agree with her never, ever being attacked for being a concerned citizen ever again. Reach out and give her some love. And guys, again, I can't say it enough. We appreciate you, and we will see you guys next week.